Today we're going to break down what Mark Zuckerberg recently spent $15 billion on, a move that shook Silicon Valley to its core. A sum larger than the GDP of Tajikistan with its 10 million citizens, and Zuckerberg dropped it on one single person. His name is Alexander Wang. Initially, Wang rejected Mark's offer and chose to stay focused on his own company, Scale AI. But people like Zuckerberg don't accept rejection. So he simply took those $15 billion, walked into Scale AI, and bought a chunk of the company outright. What Scale AI actually does mattered to Mark far mentia. In Silicon Valley, this kind of deal is called an acqui-hire, when the investment isn't about the startup, but about one specific human being. In this case, Alexander Wang. So what exactly does he do that makes him worth more than a small country? As you probably guessed from the title, Wang is considered one of the most promising specialists in building true artificial intelligence. Not the kind that generates funny cats, but the one called humanity's last invention. We're talking about AGI, Artificial General Intelligence, an AI that matches human-level thinking, the holy grail of Elon Musk, Sam Altman, Mark Zuckerberg, and the centerpiece of a new technological arms race with budgets surpassing the Manhattan Project. And in the next few minutes, we'll explain everything you need to know, how close we are to creating superintelligence, whether it's even possible, and who is currently winning the race. Drop your predictions for the birth of real AGI in the comments. Let's start with the basics. To understand AGI, you must first understand what it actually is. And that's where the trouble begins, not only for philosophers, but even for Google and OpenAI. On paper, everything is simple. AGI is a system capable of solving any task that previously required human intelligence. That's the definition from major encyclopedias, and English language sources say roughly the same. Some even argue that we've already invented true AI because doctors supposedly consult ChatGPT. But here's the catch. ChatGPT and all modern models do not meet the definition of AGI. The reason's straightforward. They're not intelligent. They're language models predicting the next token based on statistical patterns, with no understanding of meaning, no awareness of context, no real reasoning. You can see this clearly in early versions. Everyone faced moments when the model started spewing nonsense, fabricating facts, or arguing out of thin air. These failures happen rarer now, and companies are improving context handling, but the core reality remains. Modern AI doesn't think. It simulates thinking. It assembles logic chains from massive text datasets, possibly including your Reddit posts or your old term papers. And this is where the fundamental split appears. Because the truth is, humanity still hasn't agreed on what AGI actually is. The world is divided into two camps. The first insists that real AGI must have self-awareness, creativity, and some form of soul. The second says, forget the soul, that's a philosophical toy. Who cares as long as the system can solve a wide range of tasks as well as a human? Which side are you on? Tell us in the comments. Spoiler, almost all major companies are firmly in the second camp. Cold, pragmatic, and the only one where AGI can be measured and defined on paper. One of the leaders, DeepMind, published a classification of AI levels back in 2023. This is now the unofficial reference point for everyone in the race, and a roadmap some corporations are already monetizing. OpenAI even declared publicly that once AGI appears, they expect to earn at least $100 billion a year from it. For scale, that's roughly the GDP of Bulgaria. The first level, according to DeepMind, is machine intelligence able to solve any task at the level of an average, non-expert human. Basically, apply a Band-Aid, not perform surgery. Most experts agree that this is where we currently are. Modern models can look things up and summarize them as quickly as a typical person, just faster. The second level is the true AGI, a system capable of solving any task at the level of the top 50% of human specialists in that field. A strong, competent, mid-tier expert, with a major difference. Unlike humans, who master one or two professions, AGI can master everything at once, from nuclear physics and microbiology to advanced Minecraft castle design. Sam Altman also supports this definition. Whether you like it or not, this is exactly the kind of system corporations will call the first real synthetic mind. It's debatable, but in any case, we're nowhere near that point yet. Even the most advanced models today remain narrow specialists, though at first glance they seem universal. Remember when ChatGPT lost a chess match to a 1970s 8-bit MOS 6507 console, complaining afterward that it lost due to outdated design and that the console played by the wrong rules? That moment perfectly illustrates the issue. Modern AI systems are still narrow, brittle tools, not broad-thinking minds. Yes, they code extremely well, and in some areas already outperform half of human experts. But across the thousands of domains that make up real human intelligence, this is a drop in the ocean. As soon as you put them in a novel situation, it becomes obvious. It's not a thinking entity, just an adaptive statistical machine. The solution to this entire problem turned out to be surprisingly simple and even elegant. To teach AI to think, researchers forced it to think. You've probably noticed that nearly every modern model now offers two modes, a quick answer and a take your time and reason option. And this isn't a marketing gimmick. It's currently the most realistic way to inch closer to something that resembles human-like intelligence. After all, even a top expert can't produce a perfect answer to a complex question instantly. They need time to process it. So now models are trained to do the same. The clearest demonstration came again from DeepMind and their amusingly titled paper, Large Language Monkeys. In it, a simple open-source model, DeepSeek Coder V2, was forced to generate not one solution, but hundreds. An internal verifier then filtered the noise and selected the best result. The method was almost embarrassingly simple, and the tiny open-source model still managed to outperform the then-dominant GPT-4 in every test. Of course, there are caveats. Evaluating solutions in physics or coding is trivial, but how exactly do you verify a symphony or a painting? That's where the Will Smith meme returns. There's a massive amount of work ahead, but progress is noticeable. This is the type of soft, commercially convenient definition of AGI that most companies expect to achieve in the early 2030s, essentially an evolved version of what we already have. Skeptics exist, and Elon Musk, as usual, promises everything by next Tuesday. But the broader consensus is simple: no revolution required. Incremental improvements might be enough to reach systems that match humans across a wide range of tasks. For instance, modern models already surpass humans in certain creative visual puzzles. GPT-3 solved 0% of them in 2020, compared to 75% for humans, while O3, using its reasoning mode, now reaches 88%. Sounds amazing, but only if you accept this definition of AGI. Skepticism is understandable. At the end of the day, it's still a model trained on everything from Pushkin to Pavel Durov's social media posts, convincingly imitating intelligence. And many people insist that real AGI must possess self-awareness or a soul. The trouble is, we're as far from that as ever, not because corporations want subscription money, but because humanity still has no idea how electrical impulses in neurons turn into consciousness and identity. Asking programmers to replicate what biologists can't explain after centuries of research is, frankly, unrealistic. As the saying goes, come back when we at least understand what needs to be copied. Every scientific paper and hypothesis on conscious AI is still indistinguishable from science fiction. Yes, some hope that but all these technologies are, to put it mildly, still in their infancy. Sure, there are eerie experiments like the one from Synthetical Labs, where scientists train live human neurons to play a tennis simulator, and those neurons actually beat a neural network. After that, a new branch of expectations appeared: AI built on real, artificially grown biological brains. The imagination can go wild here, but the criteria for AGI become even blurrier, and the forecasts range from "it already happened in 2010" to "it will never happen at all." So no matter how you twist it, when we talk about AGI, we mostly mean a more grounded version, a hyper-intelligent algorithm capable of genuine reasoning. Many people assume OpenAI is the obvious leader, but that's only at first glance. Betting markets, for example, pick Google as the most likely winner. On the LI prediction platform, Google Gemini holds a 57% chance of leading the AI race by the end of 2025. ChatGPT sits at modest 20%, barely above Elon Musk's Grok. And once again, this shows how unpredictable the field has become. The AI landscape doesn't change monthly, it changes daily. Plus, we have the wild cards: Chinese, DeepSeek, and Kimi, working behind closed doors and occasionally detonating the infosphere so gromko, что они слышат даже лучше далекие от технологий. Who do you bet on? Share in the comments. Now let's imagine what happens once AGI finally arrives. Globally, there are two scenarios. The first, the most popular one for some reason, is a world where inequality skyrockets and the corporation that created AGI dominates everything with an army of free digital workers. Life extension drugs for the elite, corporate gods, cyberpunk aesthetica, polny nabor anti-utopii. The second scenario, far more realistic, everyone somehow forgets about. It's the scenario where AGI leaks almost instantly to every competitor. Someone misplaces a folder on a server, someone sells model weights, someone forgets to encrypt something. History shows one thing clearly: secrets always leak. Even OpenAI has had internal documents leak, so believing that a fully working AGI model can be locked in a vault forever feels naive. Most likely, AGI will become accessible to everyone. That's why many call it the last invention of humanity. After it, all other inventions will be created by the AGI itself. And at that point, why break your back working manually when you have a machine assistant with the mind of a solid human specialist? There are endless possible outcomes. Feel free to share your theories in the comments. See you in the next videos!